TNN Motorsports. Last week at Toledo, ASA title contenders Scott Hansen and the sneaker Bob Seneker struggled with mechanical failures in their quest for the AC-Delco Challenge Series crown. Victory Lane was rocking with the celebration of a first-time winner, the third of the '96 season. Today, the high-banked Hoosier half-mile at Salem will test the skills and courage of the ASA contingent. Tony Raines sits atop the point standings, but even this high-speed hero has fallen from the mountainous Salem walls. Hopefully, Tony won't stumble today. We are in the southern portion of central Indiana. Beautiful Salem Speedway. The high-banked half-mile welcomes the AC-Delco Challenge Series Tour back to the racetrack. It is absolutely gorgeous out here for racing in October. Some 75 degrees. There isn't a chance of rain until you get halfway back to Ohio. Hi everybody, I'm Ralph Shaheen. Welcome to Salem. They've done a lot of work here at this racetrack, and it is absolutely perfect for ASA racing. And I'm joined as always by Jim Trado. Great racetrack and a tremendous points battle as we come here to Salem.
Now Scott Hansen was on the pole 1 week ago. He ends up dropping all the way down to third in points. Tony Raines, the point leader now, takes the pole position, expands to 38 markers ahead of Gary St. Amant. Hansen in third. He and Seneker locked in the battle there. And as you mentioned before, Dave Sensiva is right within the hunt.
Absolutely. Dave's still mathematically in it after a good run at Toledo last week. Here's a look at the back half of the top 10. Now, you might notice the 7-time champ, Mike Eddy, not in the top 10, but we'll have more on the travails of Mike Eddy, which continued here at Salem in just a little bit. So this racetrack here is going to be the turning point maybe in this championship season, but there are two drivers who are going to make up our front row here today. They're going to be working real hard to stay right where they are.
Scott Hansen has a great record here, 4 top 5 finishes. He's got 2 victories here at Salem. He loves the high banks. In qualifying, people are holding their breath. They run right along the fence, and Hansen's not afraid to do it here.
The other driver is Tony Raines, who currently holds on to the points lead. He's got 2 seconds here, so that might be just the kind of thing Tony needs, a finish just like that, to hang on to that points lead as we move on to Jennerstown in the season finale at Conley later in November. Let's go downstairs now to Dave Burns. And you know, Dave, we've gone to 12 different racetracks this year where we've absolutely smashed the track record. Salem was one of them.
Well, here's a good look at Scott Hansen's car. He beat the track record for 1, but he wasn't the only driver that did that. Scott will start on the inside of row number 1 for the 2nd week in a row, but he was not the fastest qualifier. Tony Raines was the fastest qualifier, and he took advantage of an option that is given to the pole sitter, which is to start your car on the inside of the front row or the outside. And we know that the fastest line at Salem is around the outside. Now, let's talk to Tony about what he thinks about leading the points for the first time in his ASA career. We're kind of curious as to what kinds of things you've been talking to Howie Leto and the rest of your crew about this week in the shop.
Well, we just been, you know, hoping that the luck continues. We've been working a little extra hard on the car, staying a couple hours more, you know, trying to make everything turn out for the best.
Okay, Tony is certainly hoping that'll be the case because there's only 3 races left in the 1996 season. Now, the first row was interesting. What about the second row? Bill Baird on the outside in the Saturn Machine Chevrolet, a great qualifying run in 4th. And on the inside, Ray Skillman in the DuPont Oldsmobile. Ray will start in there. These guys pushed some championship contenders further back in the starting grid with their great qualifying performances.
Well, that's exactly what they did, Dave. They pushed Gary St. Amant, who's number 2 in the points, and Bob Seneker, who is number 4 in the points, all the way back to the 5th row. There at Seneker, you can see he did out-qualify Gary.
Gary is running, I think, a very cautious approach to the championship. He's trying to do extremely well here. It was a very tight qualifying session, as it is every week in American Speed Association competition. But in 8 starts, you see Gary St. Amant, not the best results. So 6th place, a great run in a couple of years back in 1993. Only 4 top 10s in 8 races. It's good or bad for Gary St. Amant. Mostly, it's been mediocre.
Bob Seneker has fought his way into points contention as the season went along, has 4 wins at this high-banked half-mile, but he also has most wins on the tour here in 1996, so you certainly cannot count out Bob Seneker. One other guy to keep note of, we mentioned at the beginning of the show, is this man right here, Mike Eddy. That Goodwrench Service Pontiac has really struggled all season. really struggled here this weekend.
Mike Eddy in practice yesterday afternoon had a throttle hang-up. He hit the turn 1 wall extremely hard, pancaked the right side of his GM Goodwrench Pontiac, then he careened down to the inside guardrail. Both incidents were high-impact incidents. It bent the radiator at a 90-degree angle. The front end, the front clip is completely busted apart on the 88 car. He's not able to start that car today.
Mike made a phone call back to Midland, Michigan. They trucked a new car down here, and this car that is on the grid is actually the car that Mike won with here at Salem back in 1994. So it is a proven winner on this Hoosier half mile. Let's go back downstairs to Dave Burns so we can turn the motor over in that Goodwrench Service Pontiac, Dave.
Well, guys, Beverly Thompson and her husband Owen are they're behind the resurgence of Salem Speedway here. And Beverly, first of all, a question. Is Salem Speedway here to stay?
It's here to stay. As long as that sun shines, you all come every Sunday we have a race.
All right. They're very excited about this. The community has gotten behind them. And today, Beverly's going to get us going here with the command to start engine.
Gentlemen, start your engines!
Well, the motors have come to life as you take a look at Tony Raines strapped inside alongside of Scott Hansen. The 1996 AC-Delco Challenge Series Championship is coming down to the last couple of rounds. We'll have it live from Salem next.
AC-Delco knows that as a car gets older, its engine runs rougher. So we developed a spark plug to help bring back new car feel, and things really gelled. Rapid Fire from AC-Delco. It makes an engine idle up to 27% smoother and accelerate with up to 18% quicker throttle response. Rapid Fire. Its performance ought to have the competition shaken.
WINS Extend Supreme Plus is a patented oil supplement especially formulated for today's high-tech engines. Extend helps increase oil life, combats engine wear, and reduces oil oxidation. So next time and every time you have your oil changed, ask for Extend, the supplement that will not void manufacturer's warranties and comes with its own 100,000-mile warranty. Extend Supreme Plus, a Win Oil Company product since 1939. Available at your quality service facility, including Firestone, Goodyear, and Grease Monkeys.
A lot of folks in Johnson City, Tennessee will tell you when you need a part for your car, go to AutoZone. The parts are top quality, the prices are low, and the people are helpful, like Gary Jennings. You see, when it comes to auto parts, folks will tell you Gary really knows his stuff. Oh, sure, they know there are other parts stores in town, but when it comes to getting the right part, the right price, and good advice from folks like Gary, there's just no place better than AutoZone.
This year, over 400,000 aluminum radiators will corrode and fail. But Prestone antifreeze bonds with aluminum, forming the Prestone zone of protection against corrosion. It's your car. Protect it in the Prestone zone. And now there's a new Prestone antifreeze with a new low-tox formula for an extra margin of safety around pets and wildlife. New Prestone Low-Tox. It's extra protection in the Prestone zone.
The AC-Delco Challenge Series on TNN is brought to you in part by Win Oil Company, makers of quality automotive car care products. Remember, when it's wins, it works. And by your GM Goodwrench service dealer. We want your business. And this racetrack here in Salem, Indiana is just that. It is awesome. They have done a lot of work to fix this place up as far as the grandstands. They have now got the concrete wall all the way around the racetrack. The very nasty guardrail they used to line the backstretch is now gone. The high banks have not been touched, and there's possibilities in the near future of maybe repaving this racetrack. Let's take a look at the grid here for the Midwest 300. Front row made up of Tony Raines, his first ever ASA pole. Scott Hansen then is trying to catch him in the point standings from third position right alongside.
2 of 8 drivers to break the track record, including Ray Skillman in an Oldsmobile, the only Olds in the field, and Bill Baird, who has run some short track events here, qualifies an impressive 4th.
Second row, pretty interesting. Row number 3, Joe Knott and Kevin CYWINSKI, 2 of the new young Chargers on the tour, both of those drivers having found victory lane already this season.
Qualifying 7th in the 31-car field is Dave Sensible, coming off a second-place finish a week ago in the high banks of Toledo, and ever-improving Tony Roper out of Missouri.
Row number 5, here's the other one that has a lot of impact on the title situation. Bob Seneker, the man who sits 4th in the points, and Gary St. Amant, that wins 4th, would sit 2nd, lining up alongside in positions 9 and 10.
Right behind these ASA veterans is Rick Beebe, first time at the racetrack, and Harold Fair, first time ASA winner here in 1988.
The next row, Mike Miller, who has 2 wins on the tour, and Brad Loney, who now says Holy Toledo a lot, having won last week at Toledo, lines up alongside on the outside of row 7.
Qualifying 15th is Carl Muscat in second in rookie points, and Steve Holtzhausen, who's had some success here.
Row number 9, J.D. Summers, who's been making infrequent visits to the tour, and the good doctor out of Virginia, YALE CONLEY.
19th and 20th on the grid. First start for Kurt Huff, Aaron Huff's little brother, and Ted Smokestad in the Super America Pontiac.
Row number 11, Mike Eddy, the 7-time champ with that car that won here back in 1994, did not qualify, but due to points, he will start on the inside of row 11. And Tom Jones, who went upside down at Cedar Rapids, will be alongside in his Zero Hero Pontiac.
In row 12, Jack Landis in Noah Yoder's Ford, and Aaron Huff in the Eaglewood Racing 15 car this week.
Row number 13, we find Tim Sauter, who will be running full-time next year and chasing the Pat Shower Rookie of the Year award, and Dennis Lampman in the number 9 Chevy, the Gentle Giant.
Brett Bell and Mike COFER make up the next row. COFER sporting new sponsorship from Black & Decker VersaPack this weekend.
And the 15th row, out of Canada, comes Alec Pinsino and the racing school principal, Dave Anspaugh.
And in row 16 will be Brandon Sperling back in his own Ultra Custom Wheels Chevrolet. He'll start at the rear of the field.
And it looks like the 15 car of Aaron Huff is having some problems. They've had some problems keeping this car basically running all weekend.
During practice, they went through 4 MSD ignition boxes, finally figured out they rewired the whole thing. Aaron was inside the car for up to 3 hours yesterday, trying to get the ignition system working. Again, working out a deal with owner Randy Ellen here to run this car for the rest of the season, and Aaron's problems, unfortunately, reoccur one day after they found not so much success during practice. Track description, Ralph, it's a high-banked racetrack, 33 degrees. You're not seeing the wrong thing on the screen, folks. 33 degrees, the banking, 75-foot wide turns, but they're very narrow when it comes down to the racing groove. Straightaways also banked. These cars propelling well over 115 miles per hour at any given straightaway.
You know, this racetrack, as we said, is not only one of the most historic on the tour, but it's also one of the most difficult to get around. So we went to one of the veterans who got his first ever ASA win here. That was Harold Farron. Harold, what do you have to do to win at Salem?
Yeah, it's a tricky track. It really is. 3 and 4, once everyone gets running, it's like single file. So you have to pass. You got to set the guys up over here in 1 and 2 and hope you can get them before you hit turn 3 over there.
So that is the key to keep an eye on here today as we go racing for 300 laps around this high bank racetrack. There's the Wonderbar car of Brett Bell. Aaron Huff has climbed out of the car. Let's go to Dave Burns.
Yeah, the problem that you described, Ralph, has come back to bite them again. They have had problems with the ignition box. They have unboxed several of them brand new this weekend and cannot get them to work right. They rewired the entire car, and they still have had problems. They're going to have to take the whole seat out in order to get at it to replace it.
That'll cost them many laps, and unfortunately in the pits, that's not where you want to be here at Salem. Very, very quick speeds. Under 17 seconds was Tony Raines' qualifying effort.
And the race analysis for this one, we have 31 cars starting for the 300-lapper, and you see Tony Raines with the new track record and a good mix in the manufacturers.
Chevrolet trying to gain up from the 3rd in the status, and the manufacturers got points. Pontiacs again outnumber the rest of the field. Fords locked in a battle with Pontiac, it seems, for the championship in the manufacturers chase.
The one Oldsmobile belongs to Ray Skillman. Ray putting the Olds the 3rd fastest qualifying machine here at Salem. Taking another lap or so to warm up the cars, and we should be set to go racing.
Ralph, will be interesting. It was a cool, windy afternoon yesterday. The sun has made the temperature rise up to 75 degrees. This track will get greasy. We'll follow that this afternoon here on TNN.
There's a good look at Scott Hansen. Had horrible luck in Toledo. Really needs to bounce back here at Salem. He wants a shot at his first ever ASA championship. In fact, out of the top 5 drivers contesting for the title, only one driver's ever won that championship. That's Bob Seneker. He's won it once. The Midwest 300 live on TNN from Salem is underway. Right up to the wall now as they go into turn 3. off of 4. And Raines leads the first lap at speed.
Borrowing a term from drag racing, Raines had lane choice. He took the outside of front row starting position, and it looks like it's paying off early. He took the jump on Hansen, but Hansen's not going to wait and sit back in second.
I knew you've been watching those drag races, Nitro Sniffer. Tony Raines, the points leader, out in front. Hansen and Bill Baird right on him. And don't count out Bill Baird. We saw him come right into contention at Lancaster earlier this year on a very tricky racetrack. It seems like the more difficult the racetrack is, the better Bill Baird runs.
Finished third in that event. He also ran 2 short track specials here at Salem, so he likes the high banks, as does Ray Skillman, who's run about 6 events. They qualified excellently, and now we see Skillman drifting back just a bit. CYWINSKI now into 4th in the 1 car.
Look how high the line is through 3 and 4. If you have never been to this racetrack and you are a fan of short track racing, I strongly encourage you to visit this facility. It is like no other. Yes, the banking is steep like Winchester and Bristol, but the line, look at how they go right up to the wall in turns 3 and 4.
Hansen will try to make it work down to the inside, a very unorthodox way to pass, but it has been done here at Salem. You notice how narrow that groove is in turns 1 and 2. This is where they say the passing might happen, down into turn 3.
Got to get it done before you get to 3. Hansen comes up on the inside, but he was not able to let the car drift up enough to really complete the pass the way he wanted to, and it might cost him here.
Raines will take the lead lap position there. Hansen yet to lead the race, but now it looks like Bill Baird will follow Hansen down the backstretch.
So Hansen takes over the lead. Now Baird going to try to make a move. Can't get it done. Has to tuck in behind Raines. And look at Hansen starting to open up a gap now. Already going to go down a lap here as we've just completed 7 or 10 laps. CYWINSKI running along in 4.
This is the first chance Kevin CYWINSKI's had to follow a race car on the racetrack. The rookie sensation has 3 wins on the year, but each time he made it out on the practice track, the guys ahead of him would pull off. They don't want to give CYWINSKI any sort of advantage. He's very adept and very quickly adapting to this racetrack.
Hansen, Raines, Baird, CYWINSKI, Skillman, your top 5. Joey Knott, Roper, Sensiba, St. Amant, and Seneca round out the top 10. There's your battle for 7. That's Tony Roper in the black number 10. And the white 4, West Michigan Chevy dealers, late automotive machine of Dave Sensiba, who finished 2nd at Toledo, really looked like he was going to stand a chance getting his first ever ASA win at the Ohio facility last week.
Tony Roper has an impressive 9th place finish here in 1994. Again, 1995 was a year off for ASA here at Salem Speedway, back on the schedule this year, but Roper a 23rd in 93 and a 9th place finish in 94 in the 10 car.
Joe Knott, the Valvoline Raby Ford, just in front of that. And they're going around the number 51 of Brandon Sperling. This is the first time Brandon has run the 51 car in some 10 races. And Brandon actually didn't even get any laps in practice. They spent so much time working on the car. The first time Brandon saw turn 1 at this racetrack was when they threw the green flag.
Did not qualify that Chevrolet, and he's learning the hard way around the Salem High Bank, staying low and watching everyone string on by.
There's a big bump right there going into turn number 3. There's some interesting theories as to how you should go through that bump going into turn 3. Some drivers say just put your right side wheels on it. Some drivers say try to straddle it. Some guys try to go to the outside. Nobody says it's easy.
Kurt Pointlier says, Tony Raines said it's bumping around so much going into turn 3, you kind of have to guess where that bump is, and it's a matter of getting in a rhythm whether you want to straddle it. He prefers going to the inside of it.
Through the center of the turns as you go through 1 and 2 seems to be the quick way through here. Coming off of turn 2 right in this area as you look at the battle for 9th between Loney and St. Amant, the car gets very loose, and then you want to go right up to the wall through 3 and 4.
Harold Fair has a problem. The CarQuest Pontiac is slowing right behind Gary St. Amant and Mike Miller here. Fair slowing on the banking, holding up traffic momentarily. However, St. Amant and Seneca are clear of that problem. Now trying to close in on Brad Loney. Loney coming off the win 1 week ago said it started sinking in when he got to share the victory with the team members as they took the motorhome back to Iowa.
Whatever was wrong with Harold Fair's car, he must have fixed because he is running at full speed once again. Sliding in behind Rick Beebe just in front of Steve Holzhaus deeper in the pack. Loney trying to find a way around Dave Sensma. Loney has it out, and Bunsaver is coming back in 1997. We should see a new paint scheme on this 33, but he will have full sponsorship for the entire tour next year. Looks like if they were going to do a first victory commemorative Bunsaver.
I don't want to talk about paint jobs when you have a sponsor as unique as Bunsaver. We had quite a lively conversation off air yesterday about what they should or should not put on the car.
Back up towards the front of the race now. As you take a look, there is Scott Hansen getting ready to lap the other newly sponsored car, the 79 of Mike COFER, the Black & Decker VersaPack car, learning his way around the high banks at Salem. We're just underway here at Salem, the Midwest 300. Stay with us.
This is the story of the man in black, and the Goodwrench team keeps his car on track. You know their secret's consistency. It's all in the list. And if it takes all night, they'll get it done right. Turn to your GM Goodwrench service team for consistency and attention to detail. Their tools, training, equipment, and genuine GM parts let you run with the winners. To build the perfect ride, use a checklist as your guide. And always keep the customer satisfied.
Honda invented the ATV, and in over 25 years, no one has taken the idea farther. Now, with the purchase of a 4Trax 300 or 300 4x4, get a Magellan GPS satellite navigator. So no matter where on Earth you go, we can help bring you back. And with any new Honda 4Trax, get one of the best deals on Earth. No down payment and 13.5% APR financing.
That's the way it is. You got to prove yourself week after week. You got the right combination, you're going to win. And you're going to win time after time. Keep it simple. It's all about basics. Basics, basics, basics. Let me tell you, you got to get fired up. That's what it takes. When you're hot, you're unbeatable. I know a winner when I see one.
Is your dandruff sending the wrong signals? Get Selsun Power. Doctors recommend Selsun Blue #1, so don't send the wrong signals. Get Selsun Power.
Roll into Pep Boys right now and get a full set of 4 70,000-mile tires for just $169. That's any size, any 4 70,000-mile tires in stock for just $169 at Pep Boys now.
We are back to the ASA race here at Cedar Rapids, I was going to say, at Salem. And apparently we have a brand new Seneca Racing fan.
Look at how Scott Hansen's working the bottom of the racetrack, Ralph. He's flipping off laps and getting time on Tony Raines. It's now boasted to a 3-second lead for the Metro Milwaukee Auction Auto number 53 of Hansen.
Well, now, there was a reason why I was thinking of Cedar Rapids, and that's because Cedar Rapids native Brad Loney, that blue and yellow 33, is just flying as well. Look at how he has moved all the way up from 14th to about 5th right now, and he's going to get 5th as he goes inside of Skillman.
Early in the race, Skillman backing off. He knows how to conserve equipment here. He finished 8th here in 1994, did the DuPont Kendall Oldsmobile driver. Here we see now, we saw Brad Loney go underneath Gary St. Amant, who's had 8 race experience here. Brad's only been here once. They're a little disappointed with their qualifying effort yesterday after struggling in practice.
Fifth battle here, Mike Miller, the number 18, as we watch the battle from 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th. Mike Miller, a 2-time winner on the tour. Joe Knott leading the group there in the 48, the winner at Lancaster. Tony Roper has come close, but has not found victory lane yet. Sensba with a second last week at Toledo, the closest he's come to winning an ASA race.
Alec Vincent has brought his Pontiac down pit lane, changing right side tires for the Windsor, Ontario driver. He'll return to action in trim class Pontiac.
Wow, look at Sensba hanging the rear end out a little bit. Got it a little too hot, did David. And Miller's going to capitalize. He'll get it by the time they get to turn 3. Remember, you got to have the pass set up by the time you get to 3 to make it stick. And he got a little loose coming off in turn 4, so he lost ground in time. Sensba will hang on to the position. Lucky break for Dave. Now, the racing line is up high, but the passing line is low.
Going to have to work that all day long. The spotters are very critical here because the differences in speed later in the race drivers roughly, you can say they're on lead lap, Ralph, will have a certain advantage, and the guys that are a lap or more down later in the event will be pulling over, trying to finish the event, which means the speeds will be greatly different between the fast guys and the guys that had a little trouble today.
And when we say setting up the pass here, it could take you 3 or 4 laps to do that. You can see Mike Miller's been taking a look on the inside of Sensible for the last 2 laps going into turn number 1, trying to figure out exactly where he needs to turn it in coming off of turn number 4. He's trying to get a run down the hill, which when you got 33-degree banking is a pretty good run. Watch, he'll hang a hard right. Here he comes. Hard right. He hung a hard right, Sheen. He go right in the wall. I'm telling you, I'm struggling here today, Trent. You're going to have to cover
Salem,
me.
Indiana, the high banks. It's a racetrack like none other on the American Speed Association. Mike Miller knows that. As a matter of fact, he had taken his parts off the right side of the car. He sprayed dye penetrant on them to look for any sort of cracks. He found a 1-inch crack in the right front spindle. So Mike Miller, a veteran of this series and a veteran of the high banks here at Salem, wanted to take every precaution to make sure there was not an equipment failure come race time.
Roper for the move, and he'll take it and look at Sensible gets aggressive. He's going to get Joey Knott as well. Now Mike Miller comes inside of Joe Knott.
Using up a lot of right side tires. They're trying to make that move because it almost chatters across the racetrack to get back up to the top side off of turn 4.
Joe Knott goes from 7th to 10th in a heartbeat. The car that Mike Miller is running with is 3 years old, and he's won 2 races with it. The car that Bob Seneker is driving, and look at Miller now picking off Sensible. The car that Bob Seneker is driving is 3 years old, and he has won 4 or 5 races this year. It is the winningest car in the Tour. What other national sanctioning body can you think of where you have seen cars that are 3 years old having won that many races? That tells you a little bit about the parity of the equipment in this Tour. Good look at the leader, Scott Hansen, lengthening his gap over Tony Raines, who runs in second.
If I didn't see it, I wouldn't believe it.
If I wasn't here, I wouldn't have believed it.
I wouldn't believe it if I didn't see it.
These people just witnessed an amazing demonstration. We put this Duraloop treated engine through the ultimate torture test. We drained all the oil, all the water, then flooded it with a fire hose. It kept on running because Duraloop protects your engine like no other product can.
I wouldn't believe it if I didn't see it myself.
Now let Duraloop make a believer out of you. Duraloop, peace of mind in a bottle.
It's the wildest racing on the planet. A squadron of Type A personalities in a state-of-the-art fleet of racing machines. You either win or you lose. And these guys hate to lose. Get ready for a wild ride at the Rock. Live from the Rockingham, North Carolina Motor Speedway. It's the NASCAR Winston Cup AC-Delco 400. Sunday, October 20th, 12:30 Eastern, 11:30 Central on TNN Motorsports.
Back live on TNN Motorsports with Scott Hansen leading after 43 laps here in Salem in the Midwest 300. So our lap 43 leader, Scott Hansen.
We run caution free, and Scott Hansen did start second today. Early race leader was Tony Raines for just a handful of laps. Hansen taking over on the 7th circuit. Again, without a caution, we thought it'd be very dangerous here because of the inexperience from some of these drivers, but everybody's running very cleanly in a single-file fashion. We see Tom Jones a bit off the pace. Aaron Huff had some early problems. He's taking the 15 car back out onto the racetrack.
Now, Hansen has announced that he will be leaving this car at the end of the season. After Kenley, he'll be leaving the Jerry Gunderman operation. As you take a look at the interval back to Tony Raines, Hansen will be moving down south to the Charlotte area, and he's going to try to run an ASA operation out of the Charlotte area, and he has promised us he'll keep us up to date on everything as soon as he has all the final details. There have been some reports about it being NASCAR related, but Scott says his heart is with ASA right now, and that's what he wants to do, but he thinks he can strengthen himself by running out of the Charlotte area.
We were fortunate to have Scott join us in the booth last week. He finished 33rd last weekend for starting on the pole. At that point, he had the point lead. A very disappointing run. They found it was an electrical problem, not a motor-related problem on that Chevrolet. A very disheartening day. Jerry Gunderman, the car owner, thought that may be the lowest point in his racing career as a team, holding on to the championship point lead going in and finishing 33rd and looking at 3 other drivers ahead of them in the point standings coming out of Toledo last weekend.
Dave Burns?
Well, Scott Hansen's crew is extremely silent right now because Scott is silent. I asked him if he was getting out ahead and if he was really pushing hard. They said he has not said a thing. Same way with Brad Loney, who you had coming up through the pack. Their crew says as well, Brad's not saying anything. He's just out there driving. A quick update on Alec Pinsino. He came in for tires. The car was extremely loose. He's back out on the track.
You can see that Tony Raines is caught up to Hansen as they get stuck in traffic. Bill Baird right there with him. We should also point out that Jerry Gunderman, who owns the 53 car, told us just moments before the start of the show that he plans on continuing the number 53 operation in ASA racing in 1997. He is currently shopping for a driver and trying to put together what he thinks will be a winning program for the coming season. So they'll put Mike Cofer down another lap. And they've got Carl Muscotton in front of them in the 8 car. Now, this could be a gap for Raines. You can see that Hansen got hung up a little bit behind Muscotton. I thought maybe Tony could capitalize on that, but not just yet. Wasn't close enough.
It was a 3-second lead for Scott Hansen as he streaked away from Tony Raines. Raines gathered him back in, due in part to some lap traffic, due in part to a faster Pontiac at this point in the race. His car running extremely well here. Raines, the first driver to get right out near the fence in practice, and it's been there since. He's been able to close the gap here with Muscotton and the ASA Chevrolet running just ahead of those leaders, holding up Hansen just a bit.
And we are currently working lap 54. Most of the teams have said that they can easily go 60, or I should say 100 laps without any problems. And Tony Raines makes the pass on the outside. Most of the passes you will see here today will be from the bottom side. Tony was able to sneak between the wall and Hansen to retake the lead. So, Tony Raines once again establishes himself as the point man here at Salem. Midwest 300 continues right after this.
So you're building that deck with Time Life to help you along. You might want to add some built-in benches, page 50. How about a brick patio, guaranteed weed-proof, and a lot easier on your checkbook than some contractor would be.
Now with Home Repair, you get 2 books for $2. Order decks, porches, and patios for just $1.99 and get kitchens free.
Those new countertops sure look good, and doing it yourself probably saved a bundle. So you could do that built-in recycling bin she wanted. Step by step, Time Life makes it easy.
With Home Repair, you get professional results at do-it-yourself prices. Use your credit card to order decks for just $1.99 and get kitchens free.
Home Repair makes you a real hero around the house. So why don't you give them a call? They'd probably love to hear from you.
Call 1-800-779-8484 to get 2 books for only $2. Use your credit card to order decks, porches, and patios, and you'll get kitchens free. Or send check or money order for $1.99 plus $3.95 shipping to the address on your screen.
As the season comes to an end, the races just get tougher. The NASCAR Late Model Series comes to the tight 5/8 of a mile track at Nashville Speedway. It's the ComData 200, October 12th, live at 4 Eastern, 3 Central on TNN Motorsports.
Most kids don't grow up in Mr. Rogers' neighborhood. The streets out there are tough. They can destroy your life, unless you have a place to go like I did. Thanks to the Boys Club, the YMCA, and all the other United Way agencies that focus on young people. Kids have a better chance of staying out of trouble today. They can choose a better way, the United Way. Giving unites us all, so please give.
It's not an everyday romance or the same old laughs. It's not afraid of tough issues or tough guys. Step outside. It's not like anything you've ever seen before. Offbeat, on the mark, and on top of the game. It's not TV, it's HBO, and it's not to be missed in October.
Salem, Indiana, and Brad Loney, who was having such a great one, having won last week at Toledo. You can see he's struggling. You look inside the passenger window, he's having trouble getting the car in gear. He's having major transmission problems right now. He is right on the front straightaway, just about the start-finish line. There it goes. We are under yellow, just as we went to parade. And all the leaders took advantage of it and dove down pit road.
Dave Sensible along with Joe Knott, Gary St. Amant, Bob Seneca coming in. Mike Getty, who had worked his way up to 15th position, was in the pit lane, as well as E.L. Conley. Ray Skillman did come down pit lane. Tony Raines did not come down the pit lane. He stayed out, and you see that looks like Bob Seneker may be heading back down into the pit area. Tom Jones, Ted Smokestad, Harold Fair also coming in the pits. Harold Fair, the hood went up on the CarQuest Pontiac. He's now back out on the racetrack.
Well, I'll show you why we are under yellow. This will be Ray Skillman sliding into your living room.
Black and white Oldsmobile. You'll be able to see it right in front of you here, coming off the fourth turn. Skillman getting sideways off the banking, a little unorthodox there. Upset the car. Spinning sideways, you'll see Mike Miller streaking down to the inside there. And a lot of white smoke a la Days of Thunder off of turn 4, which is a very tricky place here at this racetrack. A lot of accidents happen off of turn 4 in general here at Salem. It can take out a lot of cars. Luckily, nobody got injured or any damage there. So you see Skillman back under full song.
So the Kendall DuPont, back number 27, the car dealer out of Indianapolis, back underway. Ray hasn't been running with us a bunch this year, but he has been running here at Salem quite a bit. Now, Bob Seneker has made his way back down pit road, and they've got the hood up on that car. Now they put it down. JR Automation, Lane Automotive, Mechanics Wear machine.
Having trouble tripping the starter there now. We find the Bluebird off and away, but that'll cost him. He'll not only have, he came back down pit lane for an obvious problem. The hood went up, went back down. He'll have to start at the very end of the single file restart line. 31 cars have started the race. I believe 31 remain on the racetrack.
Well, Seneker had tremendous luck about the mid two-thirds of the season as he ran hard and made up a lot of ground and a lot of points, putting himself into contention here. But now that we've gotten into the final portion of the season, he's really struggling. Maybe he's run out of luck.
Seneker's had rear-end problems at the Milwaukee Mile. He had a rear-end gear go bad at the Minnesota State Fairgrounds in the latter half of the season. They have all brand new equipment in the back half of that 84 car, and really the luck is going to play into the championship. Whoever stays clean and mean will be the champion. Too close to call in the top 4.
Well, the Thompson family has bought this racetrack now and is going to work on it. How many of these old ASA cars can you name out there? That's Glenn Allen Jr.
Junior Hanley.
Look at Mike Eddy in the 88.
72.
And you can see the railing, the guardrail here that used to line this racetrack. Of course, the 53 was Scott Hansen. And there you see the new wall that has been established all the way around this racetrack. And there, that is an early Christmas present for all the drivers. Check in with Dave Burns.
Well, real quick, guys, there was a little bit of confusion with the pits closed, pits open sign. We saw a number of the competitors come in as the pace car picked them up. Now, they have to go a full lap before they actually come in for the pits. They're not assessing any penalties. Apparently, the flag was not up. Meanwhile, in Bob Seneker's pits, they have some sort of a mist that comes and goes. They thought maybe it was a plug wire. It's not. They can't tell what it is.
Well, now it comes back to that luck thing, maybe. You know, Jim, that sometimes, you know, luck is going your way and you can score a lot of points, as Bob did earlier this year. And maybe that luck runs out and you have something like a mechanical gremlin like that. You just can't chase it.
Tony Raines and Scott Hansen where they want to be, up front, out of any sort of possibility of trouble.
It's Brad Loney struggling to get up the speed on the backstretch. Looks like maybe he's only got high gear.
With the creeping start that he had and the cars going slower on the backstretch prior to getting to the green flag go ahead on the restart, Loney suffered there and has dropped back 15 car lengths behind the last car in line. 114 mile per hour average speed for the pole sitters. You know, we're going over 120, possibly 130 down the straightaways here at Salem.
Here comes Hansen like a freight train, too, trying to get up to the inside of Tony Raines. Baird still sits in third. COFER is a lap car behind Baird, and then CYWINSKI running out your top 4.
In 5th is Mike Miller, running 6th after these pit stops is Tony Roper. 7th is Steve Holtzhausen, and 8th is Rick Beebe. 9th is Carl Muscat. Running 10th, Dave Sensiba. 11th through 20th are Joe Knott, Gary St. Amant at this point in the race, E.L. Conley, Mike Eddy, 32 of Ted Smokestad, 81 Harold Fair, Bob Seneker, and Brad Loney, the final of the 18 cars on lead lap.
When Hansen has fresh tires, he is quick. You can see his tires that look like we're going away there at the end of that last green lap session.
The drivers talked to Rex and Brian Robbins about tire wear. They want a tire developed by Goodyear, which is a lot softer this year than years previous. They want a tire that will last 100 laps, last 120 laps, and they got it in early here to get it.
Here goes Hansen, and we've got a new leader. Hansen and Raines having swapped the lead a couple of times now. these two fighting for their first ever championships. Both these drivers looking for their first ever ASA crowns. Tony Raines getting his first ASA pole here this weekend.
Both drivers based out of the Milwaukee, Wisconsin area, and all the Indiana fans want me to tell everyone listening and watching that Tony Raines is an Indiana native, now running out of Milwaukee.
He used to go to church at what is now the home office of the ASA up in Anderson, Indiana.
Grew up in Pendleton, spent some time in LaPorte, Indiana, before heading over to Ray Dillon's shop in North Liberty, Indiana, and then coming to ASA in 1991, full-time with Ernie Rosselli.
Not only that, but his wife, Sue, does a great job scoring for us up here today.
Hansen able to build a lead again. These leaders trying to pull away from the rest of the field.
We'll be back with more racing with the ASA Tour live on TNN from Salem right after this.
Preparing meals with a conventional oven takes hours, heats up your entire kitchen, and cleanup takes forever. Introducing Micro Roast from K-Tel, the amazing new way to bake, brown, and roast in your microwave oven. Place chicken on tray, cover with dome, put in the microwave. It's that easy. The secret to Micro Roast fast and delicious results comes from the Flavor Lock self-basting dome. It concentrates the radiant heat, creating a mini oven around your food, cutting cooking time by nearly 60%. The dome prevents splatter, so no messy microwave. In a conventional oven, this 4-pound chicken would take almost 2 hours to roast. With Micro Roast, it was done in only 30 minutes. Look, crispy and brown on the outside, yet so juicy and tender inside. Imagine turkey breast roasted and done to perfection in your microwave in only 7 minutes. Look, this 6-pound roast is done in only 36 minutes, just the way you love it. Micro Roast gives you the same delicious taste of a conventional oven in a fraction of the time. With Micro Roast, pork chops and lamb chops taste like they just came off the grill. Enjoy these ribs with a barbecue taste. It's hard to believe they were done in the microwave. Micro Roast grills hamburgers, even hot dogs and sausages in your microwave. The grease drips into the tray while cooking, leaving the delicious taste without the fat and calories. Micro Roast is ideal for fish. Look, salmon done in only minutes, perfect every time. Apple pie baked in your microwave, golden brown and delicious in only 20 minutes. Can you believe it? But wait, there's more. Order in the next 30 minutes and receive this forever sharp stainless steel carving knife absolutely free. Micro Roast is dishwasher safe and comes with basting tray, roasting rack, Flavor Lock dome, recipe book, and chef's carving knife, all for only $19.95. Here's how to order.
To order your Micro Roast for only $19.95, call 1-800-313-8989. Call within the next 30 minutes and receive as a special bonus the Forever Sharp stainless steel carving knife absolutely free. Call 1-800-313-8989 now, and if you're not completely satisfied, return your Micro Roast for a full refund, but keep the knife as our gift. Call now. That's 1-800-313-8989.
Problems continue for the 7-time AC-Delco Challenge Series champion, Mike Eddy. The black 88 blotched the smoke coming off the right side as he goes through the corners. Now he's moved down on the racetrack. He was running higher, and the car was smoking a bunch. It looked like there it is, right there. As he gets up into the bumps, looks like something is rubbing in there, maybe a tire. This car, remember, was the 1994 Salem winner. It was set up for Jennerstown, which is a much flatter racetrack, so maybe they didn't dial it up just right, Jim.
If you just joined us, Mike Eddy crashed his primary car yesterday in practice. His jackman, Dave Myers, was just about out the door from Michigan. Got a phone call. Mike said, I need a race car down here. Bring it with you. Instead of just driving down in the van, bring the hauler. We see now Mike Eddy hauling down pit lane. This car was set up for Jennerstown. This motor was a spare they brought along. They had to put back in this race car, the backup, last evening about 10:30.
So after a long night of working on the race car, the crew will work on it some more here as they come to a stop in front of Howard Thomas. They're going to change left side tires. See if they make any chassis adjustments of any kind if they can.
When you see spiffs or poofs of air and smoke like that, Ralph, you know something's dragging. It looks like, obviously, tire smoke's the first thing. We see sparks in the evening races here in ASA when the cars are bottoming out on the racetrack. Something is hitting on the left rear. Might need to make a spring adjustment or put a rubber in there to get it up nice and high.
That is Bob Sense, but Dave Sense of his dad leaning in, talking to Mike, and that is Howard Thomas. Now looking at that left rear tire, they're trying to decide what they're going to do as far as where the car is bottoming out.
In the early 80s, Bob Sensiva finished third and second. His son Dave wants to follow it up with a win here today. There's Bob looking now underneath the left rear.
All right, so they're talking things over with Mike, trying to figure out what they're going to do of that car. Brad Loney's problems continue as well, Dave Burns.
Well, the problem is he broke a shifter. Now, here's a transmission, an extra one for Tony Roper. The shifter goes in right here, and he snapped it off in here somewhere. They're going to have to re-bolt it right in this area here. So, for now, if they cannot get it fixed, they're going to have to bring him into the pits and push him back out because they can only put it in one gear, and obviously when he's racing, they have it stuck in high gear.
And if you're following Winston Cup, Kenny Schrader had that problem. He put a vice grip in there and shifted on a road course for many laps, I believe, out at Sears Point. So they might have to revert to other means to shift that car on pit stops.
You can see once he gets up to speed, though, Loney is still a terror out there. He's running pretty strong, trying to get around J.D. Summers right now. We go back up front with the leader, Scott Hansen.
Hansen coming up on Kurt Huff. Again, Aaron Huff's brother looking for a run next year in ASA, the new Palestine, Indiana driver. Driving the familiar number 86 out of the Huff Racing Stables. About to go a lap down again, Hansen. The Metro Milwaukee Auto Auction Chevrolet really setting the pace and setting the standard early on here.
Now, when Hansen has fresh racetrack in front of him, there is no touching this 53 today.
Tony Raines, the pole sitter, is the only other driver able to stay with him. They've swapped the lead amongst those two drivers on 3 occasions already.
That's 4th, 5th, and 6th. Bill Baird, Kevin Sawinski, and Tony Roper. Baird in the black with the orange 26. Sawinski, a 3-time winner on the tour, and the Brown and Sharp number 1 out of Lefebvre Racing Shops. Tony Roper, the black with the yellow number 10. Tony Roper having his best season ever in ASA competition. And now Steve Holzhausen, another black car, the number 5, who's been playing the spoiler this season, the Meyer Red Baron piece of number 5, having found victory lane already, running in 7th, closing up the challenge.
And he finished 5th here in 1994, one of 2 starts for Holzhausen in that black 5, last year's championship running effort, with Brian Reffer behind the wheel. This number 5 was down under car owner Don Panetti. And running up on Tony Roper. Roper has run I-70 Speedway many times. He really came to ASA as a true rookie in 1992 and has really put together a solid effort with the John Child's own team. And I know those guys are sharing the bills, but they're certainly doing a great job the second half of the season in that number 10 car.
Mike Kenny continues to sit on pit road. What's the story, Dave?
Well, they had a Panhard bar shift on the rear end of this car. And as you know, the Panhard bar holds that rear end on a center line, so that smoking that you saw was when it got off center and started rubbing the tire on the outside fender.
Well, it looks like maybe they'll take some more time to try to get that fixed. See if they can't get Mike out there to get some more points. The worst he's ever finished in the ASA's national championship was 11th. He might finish worse than that this year.
Somewhat of a prophet. Brian Robbins this morning told the drivers, you will have things break here and go bad. That won't go bad at any other racetrack because the extreme pressure is put on due to the high banks. 33 degrees the banking. You see they climb near the wall. I talked to Representative Penske Shocks. They were working on trying to keep the right side, the load off the right rear. The car rolls all the way over on the right side of the car. They want to keep it somewhat level and even in these high banks. Very difficult task to keep even.
Now take a look at this new camera angle. The T&N boys have stuffed into the wall here at Salem. Right there, that is in the wall at turn 4. Great camera angle to give you a good idea of how high up the banking these drivers get. Some of the drivers, like Tony Raines, will get right up there where they can actually clean the lens as they go by.
Bill Baird and Kevin Sawinski getting familiar with this racetrack. Never been here before. Look how high these guys are getting. Right up at the wall is 23 of Rick Beebe. His teammate Mike Garvey gave him some tips on this racetrack. Garvey very successful here. Had other commitments, and Beebe behind the wheel of the St. Louis skier, number 23 this weekend.
They get within an inch or two of the wall in the middle of turn 3, and then they start dropping down as they get closer to our camera over in turn 4.
There's Beebe in his first ever start here. He celebrated his 36th birthday yesterday. He's pretty excited about that, but he said, yeah, I can add a few more years just by running the high banks here at Salem.
Rick Beebe has now confirmed as well that he will be behind the wheel of this car all of 1997. Mike Garvey had been doing some driving, sharing the duties in this car, but will not be with the team full-time next year. It looks like Jack Landis in the Noah Yoder Maisto 07 having a pretty good run.
Down a lap, running just off the pace in, I believe, 22nd position in the 07. Lost a lap early on. Again, a rookie coming in here, finally learning the racing line and working past the lead lap cars, but he lost a lap early.
And you can see the gap back to the next group. In that group, Scott, Seneca, Loney, Tim Sauter in the 55, and you see Aaron Huff back out on the racetrack in the 15.
Carl Scott doing a good job this season again, qualifying outside pole at Minnesota. Another top 10 qualifying effort this afternoon. Actually qualified 15th. Had a very good time and did not hold throughout qualifying yesterday afternoon.
Third of the laps completed here in the Midwest 300. Loney now back to the inside, trying to get around Seneca. Turn 2 coming off of there, right where they just went through. Very loose with the race car. Car tends to want to dance around a bunch coming off there. You have to be hard into the throttle, but you have to be light with the steering wheel. You get yourself in big trouble.
Scott Hansen is your race leader here, running through heavy traffic. Now he puts a lap on the 15 of Brandon Sperling, who's down a number, the 15 of Aaron Huff. Huff taking over that ride this week. Dennis Berry had the seat a week ago. You see how quick Hansen is to get through traffic and get back up to that racing line. Very much a single file run through turns 1 and 2.
Well, Scott Hansen need a very solid run to keep himself in the thick of this points chase. Maybe looking to win his first ever ASA crown. Stay with us.
If you settle for a remanufactured engine without a brand name, be sure you've got a pair of name brand shoes. AC-Delco engines, the national brand name with the nationwide warranty. Call for a location near you. Of course, if you come in on foot, we'll understand.
Today I set out to fix my car.
Thanks, neighbor.
Whatever. I had to stop at 4 different places.
Push.
Push! Good thing I live in a friendly town.
Push.
One of us pushes, the other one pops the clutch.
Come on, push, push. I am pushing.
Finally, I went to Pep Boys.
Hey, everybody, I fixed it.
I love this town.
Car or truck, Pep Boys has your starter or alternator. 26,000 items at the guaranteed low price, tires and service too. Pep Boys, everything but gas.
The hum of the saw, the wail of the drill, the rhythm of the plane. If you love the music of woodworking, listen to this free TV offer. It's 101 shop tips, packed with secrets from the pros like a jig for routing evenly spaced dados, straightening uneven edges. You'll get 101 time-saving tips, and you get it free when you order cabinet making for just $9.99. Packed with hundreds of full-color photos and illustrations, cabinet making shows you how to master every cabinetry technique and get picture-perfect results. Preview future volumes from the art of woodworking with no commitment to buy. Use your credit card and get this video, Shop Secrets from Master Craftsman, free. So call now to order cabinet making for just $9.99 and get 101 shop tips free. Use your credit card and get your free Shop Secrets video. Call now.
To order, call 1-800-617-8585. Ask for cabinet making for just $9.99 plus $4.25 shipping and handling, and receive your free 101 shop tips. Call now.
Hi, this is Darrell Walter. Now, I want you to buckle up and hold on for TNN's Salute to Motorsports. There's exciting specials with the legendary Marty Robbins, Winston Cup champ Jeff Gordon, and Mark Colley's celebrity race. Plus, Cale Yarborough visits the Dukes, and of course, live racing with Butch Grand National, the NHRA season ender, and 2 vital Winston Cup races. It all begins October the 17th with TNN Salute to Motorsports right here on the Nashville Network.
3 races left to go in the 1996 AC-Delco Challenge Series Tour, and these fans enjoying it here at Salem, Indiana on a beautiful, sunny Sunday afternoon in South Central Indiana. Just outside of Louisville is Brad Loney getting loose from the backside.
Bob Seneca also in danger of going a lap down to the leader here.
Loney about to go down a lap, and Seneca about to do the same as well, as Hansen has caught both of them. Tom Jones about to go down another lap, and Gary St. Amant about to go down a lap as well. He's just in front of Seneca.
And St. Amant's running, he was running the 11th position. Now he's drifted back to 14th. Carl Muscatton had some problems. He came down pit lane and changed right sides. He's now off lead lap. So we're looking at a dozen cars already fighting it out at lead lap due to the hectic pace set by Scott Hansen, the race leader.
Not only the hectic pace, but this is a racetrack that if you have a problem with the car, if it's not handling just right, it is very difficult to navigate around this racetrack, to negotiate these corners. Here's a look at the race summary. We've got one more car headed down pit road. That is Rick Beebe, the 23, having some problems.
One quick caution for a spin on the front straightaway has halted this only momentarily. I think we're on a record clip here. As Hansen leading the field, now getting by Tim Sauter in the Racing Adventures 55. Sauter already a lap down, make it 2. He's now running in 19th position, so it's unbelievable how fast these guys are going. They're talking about repaving the racetrack, Ralph, and I would think for safety's sake, it might be better off running with the bumps they have.
This place is an absolute rocket if you can get your car dialed in. Rocket ride is probably a better way to say it.
Speaking of dialing in, yesterday was a 4-hour practice session, a luxury in ASA, where you look at a 2-hour practice session, maybe a total of 3 hours on any given weekend. Scott Hansen made 4 shock changes, 3 spring changes yesterday. This morning, they went back to the setup they came here with, hoping it would work, and apparently it's paying off.
Seneca gets around St. Amant, trying to distance himself from Hansen.
Boy, Loney knows how important it is to stay on lead lap in any American Speed Association race, and wow, is it a close call for the leader there.
And look at this battle for 4th going on here with Baird, CYWINSKI, Roper, and Sensiva. Good nose-to-tail fighting. Holzhausen bringing out the backside of this group, and Joey Nunn in there as well. CYWINSKI to the bottom side. He's going to get him, and Roper's going to come with him. Sensiva going to try it. And maybe Holzhausen as well. Can't get him. Remember, you got to get the pass completed by the time you get to turn number 3. Holzhausen could not complete it. They'll have to go back and start working on Baird. Meanwhile, the 3 in front of them now will try to pull away from Baird. You can see a car length, maybe a car length and a half or more, starting to open up between Baird and Sensiva.
Keep in mind the inexperience of Kevin CYWINSKI on this racetrack. He made it away around Bill Baird. Steve Holzhausen now trying doing the same on the Saturn Machine Chevrolet. Holzhausen in that black 5 with Joe Knott right behind. Knott is on lead lap.
And that time he completes the pass by the time he gets to turn 3. So Holzhausen moves up another slot. Kevin told me the biggest part about dialing in this racetrack is dialing the driver in. Not so much the car, but convincing yourself that the racing line is so high. The normal tendency for a driver is to turn it in and run it down to the bottom, let it drift up, and get back down to the bottom by the time you get to the next turn. Here, like right there in 3 and 4, you go up to the wall, try to stay there.
Scott Hansen getting around Brad Loney, and we see now CYWINSKI leading this 3-car charge. I think the most hated words that any competitor hears out of CYWINSKI's mouth is when Kevin comes in and says, man, I hate this racetrack. He did it at IRP. I think now he has a new worst favorite, and he's running extremely strong. He finished 2nd at IRP, so I don't think the day is anything but starting for Kevin CYWINSKI and his charge to the front.
Closing in on the halfway point, and CYWINSKI, Roper, and Sensiva, the top 4, 5, and 6 positions. Anybody can catch Hansen here today. They're going to have to work pretty hard, and Roper doing a tremendous job. The other place Roper got a lot of laps in is I-44 Speedway in Missouri, another high-bank racetrack. But I don't believe that place has the wall the way this one does.
They run many short track specials there, and I think any experience in any high banks prepares you for this racetrack, but in no way compares to any other racetrack.
You can see how loose he gets coming off at turn number 2 as Roper got a little loose. He was trying to make a run, and CYWINSKI couldn't do it. And then drop back and start planning his next attack.
Tony Roper last year at 8 DNFs earned him the Hard Luck Award. In the last 4 races, he's finished no worse than 11th and sits solidly at 10th in points. Not bad for a 5th-year driver.
Now, Sensiva making a charge on Roper. And the West Michigan Chevy dealer's number 4 picks up another spot. He'll move up into 5th now. This is one young driver who is way, and I do mean way, overdue for a win.
Sensiva, as I mentioned, wants to win here. His dad had a 3rd and a 2nd place showing in AC-Delco Challenge Series competition when he was still driving. Sensiva In 1994, was running for Rookie of the Year, won that Pat Shaw Memorial Crown. He got 3 laps of practice that day before the race. His first racing laps are on the racetrack. During the event, 300 laps later, he finishes up 4th.
David not done yet. He's trying to go after CYWINSKI this time after we come off of turn 2. He'll get CYWINSKI, and he'll also go past Brett Bell, who's struggling once again in the Wonder Bar car.
Brett Bell spent some time on pit lane. He's at least 3 laps down to this lead bunch as they string by into turn number 1. Notice the groove is lower here. The banking is a little more forgiving in 1 and 2. You've got to get to the top in 3 and 4. Here at Salem, again, a little bigger than a half mile, 33 degrees the banking, putting all that pressure on the right sides. We'll see if they can keep it together.
There is our leader, Gary St. Amant, about to go a lap down as Scott Hansen closes in on the backside of the Wins 4.
The finger roll with the sky hook. Oh, sweet.
Whoa, time out.
Go 10, 2 points.
Doing a little laundry, huh?
Trying to, yeah.
You know, you could try this washer and dryer at your place.
My place.
Yeah, we'll deliver them for you. Give you free service.
Hell, you. Oh, yes.
And because you're renting a rent-a-center, you're trying them before you buy them.
Come on, we're all found and the continuation.
So, if you decide you want a washer that holds more laundry, or in your case, has a bigger rim, you're never stuck with anything you don't want. Guaranteed.
Try it at home, huh?
Yeah, everything in the store.
Sweet. Okay, how about a little one-on-one?
Before you buy it anywhere else, try it at Rent-A-Center, the store that lets you try it before you buy it. Call today to find out how.
All right, Paulie.
Ready?
You got to win by 2.
You've been saying that since 50, George.
The pace here at Salem on the high banks here in south central Indiana is absolutely blistering as Scott Hansen continues to lead. Here is the battle now between Sensiba and Tony Raines, who has slipped back a spot. So Raines now slides back to 3rd. Oh, and we got a big pile up over in turn number 2. 2, 4, 6 cars involved. Alec Pinsino, Aaron Huff, Mike Cofer, Brad Loney, Ray Skillman, and Gary St. Amant. There's a look at Aaron Huff, who collected Alec Pinsino. That's a little more towards the middle of turns 1 and 2. That was a secondary incident. Looked like one of them got on the binders after they saw the bigger pileup, which is just to the left of this.
Race leader Scott Hansen also may have some damage as they sort it out. Hansen's leading. Mike Miller running second. Dave Sensiba just got into 3rd place and was moving up. Hansen had just reported in from the report of Dave Burns. He said they love the way the tires are wearing.
Maybe a right front fender missing on that car. We'll wait till he comes back around to see if we can get a look. There's Ray Skillman, and there's the right front fender of Hansen's car. It is damaged.
Right.
It'll be interesting to see now what that does to the suspension on that car and how it's going to affect the handling. And what a shame. I mean, he was just flying. Now, if it's just cosmetic...
No, it's not. Look at the right front wheel. It looks a little towed out to me where it's pointing towards the wall, Ralph. Ever so slightly, looks like it's cocked in a little bit. They run a lot of camber here. That wheel looks like it's been more than just brushed.
Well, you can be sure they'll be bringing Scott in to take a look at it. Let's take a look at the replay and see if we can figure out what happened here. Just in front of him.
Skillman starts to smoke in that Oldsmobile. Bill Baird right behind him in that orange and black car. Skillman sideways out of camera view here, and there goes St. Amant. Here comes leader Scott Hansen.
Oh, he gets hit by St. Amant. Conley did a great job up on the wall and not hitting Baird from behind. And watching, you can see Mike Cofer just slide into the back of Skillman. The Black & Decker Versapack car,
nowhere
its
to go
debut,
there.
had nowhere to go.
And behind and now we see Brad Loney rolling in. He had transmission problems. Behind this was the spin with the 15 of Huff and Alec Pinsino. Already around in turn number 2 goes Ray Skillman. St. Amant does what he can to get out of the way. Beebe, what a great job threading there, but you see Cofer hard on the brakes. It was that white smoke there. Now we find an afterthought, an aftershock, as it were.
Scott Hansen is down pit road. Let's check in with Dave Burns.
Well, Scott Hansen's getting a lot of things done on this car. Fuel going in, right side tires going in, and they're doing some duct taping around the right front where Scott sustained damage. Now, he had not radioed anything into the crew, and he's going to get out of here just barely, beat by a couple of other cars. He had not radioed anything in the way of suspension problems. So they just, looks like they just changed tires, and now he's going to see how it feels once he's back out there.
Well, Hansen will probably come back in to get more work done on that body work. I would think they probably would bring it in and try to pull some more of that body work away from the right front. We'll have to wait and see. The points chase shaking up with the ASA Tour live on TNN from Salem.
I can't believe I'm losing my hair back here.
Like father, like son.
Yeah, right.
Look, if you want to regrow some hair, check this out.
Rogaine? Don't you need a prescription?
Not anymore.
How's it work? Rogaine goes to the root of your hair, and for some people, gets it to grow.
What have you got to lose?
Nothing, I guess, except more hair.
That's been easy to use.
And it's starting to work.
See, there's room for growth in every relationship.
Rogaine, medically proven to regrow hair.
Hi, I'm Rick Benjamin. It's race week in Charlotte, and that means tonight on race day at 10 Eastern, full coverage of the UAW GM Quality 500 live from the Speedway. Can Jeff Gordon continue on his incredible run to another title? Also the Busch Series and the ASA.
Race day, tonight, 10 p.m., 9 Central on TNN Motorsports. One cause, one concert. It's 6 solid hours of non-stop made in the USA music. Farm Aid 96, October 19th, 6 Eastern, 5 Central on TNN, the Nashville Network.
Turn it on.
Are you my friend? Are you really my friend? Then help me fight. Remind me, and I'll remind you. Once a year, every year. We can't be afraid. Breast cancer. An exam, a mammogram. We can fight. Breast cancer. Lifetime applauds the fight against breast cancer.
Brought to you by Presbyterian Breast Center. For information on mammography, breast self-exams, support, or education, call 384-4111.
October 25th, some men come to fight, some only to win. Experience the toughest men in martial arts in the 1996 U.S. Shidokan Open. World champion Marco London, 4-time undefeated heavyweight Tomasz Głuszewski, U.S. middleweight champion Bo K.O. Medenica, lightweight sensation Pat White. Elimination? No. Annihilation. The 1996 U.S. Shidokan Open, October 25th at 9 p.m. only on pay-per-view. Call your cable company to order.
We are back to the Midwest 300, and you are looking at Gary St. Amant, who sits second in the point standings right now. He's led the points quite a bit this year, having problems from that incident earlier. Our scissor lifts are a big part of bringing you great coverage, and our scissor lifts for the production of the Midwest 300 have been provided by Equipment Supply Company. Call 1-800-722-2829 when you need a lift.
And you see a cameraman and a spotter. The spotter keeps track of where on the racetrack the camera's not pointed. Is very important on the television broadcast, not only for the race teams, but the broadcast as well, trying to keep a track on everything that goes on here on this racetrack. And as we just found out, it happens in a hurry. Loney's still in his race car with the front end severely damaged there. He locked up the binders, as did Mike Cofer, with nowhere to go. And might have been deja vu for Mike Cofer. This time he kept it on all fours, but unfortunately for the former NFL place kicker, not a good debut for Black & Decker Versapac.
And heavy damage to St. Amant's car. Aaron Huff and Alec Pinsino both climbed out of the car, as did Ray Skellman, as they continue to work on Gary's car. Cofer and Loney still sitting inside their cars. They're okay. They're just waiting for an opportunity to get back to the pit area from what we've been told. There goes Aaron Huff's car.
Yellow flag laps do count, so Loney waiting for assistance there will go down many laps in that Bun Saber Pontiac.
Let's take one more look at this.
Keep an eye on Scott Hansen, the race leader, about to lap Gary St. Amant. St. Amant avoiding that, but not for real long here, avoiding what's in front of him. We see the racetrack literally blocked by Skillman's car. St. Amant pitches it left with the high side block. Look how long Hansen drags St. Amant along, and boom, the impact right there. Knocks the right front fender off of Hansen's car, providing not only problems for St. Amant, but as we saw at Lancaster Speedway back in early August, race leader Kevin Swinski had just a nudge like that in a caution. Cost him the race. He finished 20th after the right front A-frame gave way.
Remember, out of all of that, Tony Raines came through unscathed. There you see Alec Pinsino, and let's check in with Dave Burns, who was with Gary St. Amant.
Well, we're going to get Gary's perspective. Gary, what did it look like from your side?
Well, it looked like somebody got into Skillman there, and, you know, after they spun, there wasn't any place to go, and, you know, that's a shame for the Wind Ford Thunderbird. You know, we come to a place like this, and, you know, it's tough out there. You know, the racetrack's pretty rough, and you know, it's a shame, you know, running for the points and everything. Tony and Scott's having a good day, and here we are sitting in the pits, but we'll get them at Jennerstown.
All right, they're getting Gary strapped in. He's tightening up his belts. They've got tires on all four corners. They don't have any front body work on the car, but other than that, Gary's going to try to get out there and make a few more laps.
Well, the one thing to think about is that we have not even reached the halfway point yet. As wild and wicked as this racetrack is, you never know what could happen. But for now, Tony Raines in an unmarked race car leads them at Salem.
This is the story of the man in black, and the Goodwrench team keeps his car on track. You know their secret's consistency. It's all in the list. And if it takes all night, they'll get it done right. Turn to